Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Miss Candy's classroom. We're here today to look at two of my favorite online resources for my SDC classroom, but you may find them very useful in your K-6 classrooms as well. So we're going to look at blending the two of these. The first is Learning A to Z. I'm specifically going to use RAS Plus, or the Reading A to Z portion of it. And we're going to look at Widget Online, which is made by the same company that makes Boardmaker. Widget Online is the online version of that program, and it has a symbol-supported word processing software, which we're going to use to create our symbol-supported reading books. So I want to take you through this process really quickly, just sort of give you an overview of what this looks like, because this has been a game changer in my classroom for my kids who need that symbol support for their reading materials. And as you probably know, if you've been teaching in an SDC classroom for long, those symbol supported reading materials are few and far between. So being able to quickly create and find those resources has been immensely helpful. So we're going to start looking at, we're going to pick a book. Crows on a Wire is one I've developed quite a few resources for a student I've been working with. So we're going to start with this one just to walk you through the process. So if you are familiar to Learning A to Z and their program, Reading A to Z is a whole level differentiated reading resource that is absolutely amazing. They have a ton of books for every level. And when you search for a book or you're looking through them, they're labeled all the way from AA, which is pre-reader, all the way up to Z2, which is for more advanced readers. This is immensely helpful for just about any K-12 classroom for differentiating reading. You can have students on all levels. They have an online component and an app for the iPads that you can assign books to your students. You can assign them quizzes. It's a really fantastic program. The only thing they're missing is icon support. So we're going to create an icon supported book. Let me get back to the one we were on. And I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. Now, if you don't want to create your own, I have a whole variety of these that I have already created in my Teachers Pay Teachers store, Miss Candy's Classroom, and you are more than welcome to go visit my store and see what I have in those packets for you. But let me walk you through those resources. We're going to go to the book so you can see what it looks like in Reading A to Z and what we're going to do with it. All right, so here's our book. And there's a number of ways that you can print these. You even have a projectable version, which sort of puts the book big screen so that you can share with the whole class at once. When I'm printing books for my students, I tend to do either the single-sided, which gives you sort of the full color one, or you can do the read and color, which are a lot of fun for students because then they can read and color the pictures. And there are some really specific activities you can do around coloring specific things in the images. And we'll go over that. That's another video. But for right now, I'm going to open up the single-sided book PDF just so you can see what this would print like for the majority of your students and how we're going to edit it. All right, so here is our PDF of the Crows on a Wire book. And you can see, at first when you look at these, they look a little weird because it's upside down or right set up. These are meant to be printed, folded, and then stapled together. So the orientation's a little weird at first until you figure out how that works. But you can see these books are pretty basic. You have a big engaging picture and you have one, maybe two lines of text for the first couple levels. And those are the levels we're looking at for doing our symbol supported work. So what I did is I looked at the book and I wrote down the sentences that were in the book. And then I literally took screen captures of the pictures themselves and downloaded those as separate files. So once I had that done and I made a list of all the unique words that were in the book, I went into Widget Online. And here's where the magic happens. So Widget Online has two different things that it's really good at doing. It has a word processor, a symbol supported word processor, which is really difficult to find. In fact, Widget Online is the only one I've found so far. And it has in there create a grid, which sounds a little strange, but it has a whole bunch of activities that you can build, flashcards and matching activities and multiple choice activities and all sorts of fun stuff in there based around a symbol grid. So first we're going to look at the create a document. I'm going to show you what I did here to make our symbol supported books. And if you've never seen a symbol supported word processor before, you're probably going to be as excited as I was the first time I saw it. So this is so simple. I can literally type a sentence and it will populate with all the symbols that it has available for words. So dog was one that it had a picture for, ran it had a picture for, tree it had a picture for. Only the words that really don't have an association picture, those are your basic simple sight words, are not going to have images. But this gives our emergent readers, our ELL students, our students with disabilities who need that symbol support, references for these words so they can help build meaning to the word. The great thing about Widget is that it also gives you options for what this looks like. So let's say you have two words that sound exactly the same but have different meanings. We all know how confusing those can be for our EL students, for our emergent readers. You can pick what you want the image to look like. So we have a tree. Well, maybe they're from Florida and a palm tree looks closer to that. Or, maybe we're talking about trees in winter and a palm tree wouldn't make sense, but that one would make sense for what we're reading. We can switch out the symbols depending on what it has available in that symbol library. Now, when I do our more in-depth widget one, I'll show you how to put your own symbols in too. Let's say you have a student's name. You could pop in their picture for the symbol. Really, really exciting stuff. Now, turning this into a book is really not much harder. So I tend to start with the paragraph graphic being the one on the top and then the sentence centered in the center. I'm going to add my paragraph graphic. Now here's where I've uploaded the images of the pictures from our book. You can see I've got a couple books here that I've uploaded. There we go. Page number 2 is our crows. So I'm going to grab the title image. I'm going to insert it right there. I can make it bigger, I can make it smaller, and then right under that, I can type the title. Okay. I can center that, and you can see that it populated the icons to go with my words. Now, I can go back to my formatting and I can make my text bigger. I can make my symbols bigger. I can format this in really unique ways so that it's much easier for our students to see and understand. So this is how I created the book. Now I'm going to walk you through some other resources and what you will get if you purchase one of my book packets from my Teachers Pay Teachers store. Now, if you are purchasing one of my packets from Teachers Pay Teachers, Miss Candy's Classroom, you are not going to get the base book that looks like this. You will get the sentence strip, but Reading A to Z has the copyright on the book, and I don't want to violate their copyright. So this is meant to be an accompaniment, not a replacement for your Reading A to Z subscription. So what you'll get is you'll get a file of our sentence strips. Let's look at that real quick. So you'll get the sentence strips file. So you can print one of your Reading A to Z books, and you can cut out one of these sentence strips and put it where the other text was. So now you have the text and the symbol support. I really like doing it this way because then our students with the symbol support have a book that looks just like everybody else's. Now for further practice, and something I've done with my students before, is I'll print this twice and I'll put the sentence on the book and I'll laminate one set of these, maybe one symbol at a time or a whole strip at a time, and I'll have the students match the symbol under the sentence that's already there in the book. There's lots of ways that you can play with these symbols. Okay. I've also given you a flashcard set, and this was created in that widget grid. So these are all of the unique words in the book, and you can keep this as one-page practice. You can cut these out and use them as flashcards. You could do discrete trial training with them. There are lots of possibilities. You can even cut these out and use them as icons and move them around on a sentence strip for writing practice. Okay. I've also given you 2 spelling worksheets. One is an errorless, so they have the word there in the dotted line and they can trace to learn how to spell that. I've also given it to you in a regular spelling worksheet. So you have the icon and they'll write the word. These are great to do for guided practice or, depending on how much practice they've had, even independent work. Okay. There is a matching activity, matching the word to the icon. And I even have a multiple choice option for more practice. So in this case, they're selecting which one belongs to the icon. So these are all ways of reinforcing the word to the image and building that connection. Now, because students need feedback, and immediate feedback is best. And I wanted to be able to give them projects or activities they can do independently to practice this, either in their independent centers, practicing it with other students in the classroom, or even practicing it with staff. So I created 2 interactive PowerPoint presentations that are run like games. And if you've never seen one of these before, they're really interesting. And they're not hard to do, but they do take a little bit of time. So I've included 2 of these in here. So let's take a look at those and I'll show you how these work. So the first one is an interactive quiz. And you have the file, you'll set that up for the student. These can even be run on an iPad if you have the PowerPoint app set up. And you're going to run it in slideshow mode. So a lot of these have transitions to another slide. They have voiceovers built in, and you'll see what that looks like in the PowerPoint. Now, when you get the file, it is in read-only mode. That is to protect you from the students accidentally deleting an image or a link, because they're only going to be running it in the slideshow. They're not going to be working with the base file. So let's take a look at this slideshow. Crows on a wire, quiz time. All right, so you'll notice with the images, a lot of them are linked to sound or an action. If they want to change the slide, they're just going to click anywhere outside of an image. The crows landed on a blank. Is the answer plain, wire, or pie? All right. So I have voiceovers linked up here that play automatically, but they can also be clicked on to play again if the student needs to rehear it. And here are your options buttons. So if they press an incorrect option button, they see an image. It tells them, oh, try again. All right, Let's click the right one this time. All right, they get thumbs up and applause, and it
What landed on the wire? Was it horses, elephants, or crows?
And it'll take them to the next question. And it'll go through all the way through the quiz like that. And at the very end, they will get a slide that says, great, you're finished, good job. All right. So let's close this one. And I'll show you the other one, which is our word practice. Now, our word practice is pretty similar. You have your slides, you have your try again feedback, you have your positive feedback. This one runs just a little bit differently. We're going to run it in the slideshow again. And this one is a great pre-reading activity because it's designed to teach the new vocabulary.
Crows on a wire word practice.
All right. So up here we have directions, and if we click on those, it'll read the directions for us.
Words to know. Click here for practice.
All right. Now each one of our new words has a voiceover on click. So when they click on it, it will play a sound that is the name, and they can click on it more than one time. So if they want to practice again, if they want to hear it again, each time they click on it, it will say the word again.
Oh, another.
Okay. When they're done practicing these words, they can click anywhere on the slide and I'll link them to the next one. Now I do these in sets of 4 words at a time with some comprehension questions behind them.
Away, flew.
All right, so if I think I'm done practicing, I can click my first question. Now up here, you'll have a hyperlinked word, and this one will read it for them.
Oh.
Now they need to match which one matches the word they heard.
Oh.
Wasn't that one. All right, and again, they'll click the word, hear it spoken.
Away.
And they'll have to make a choice. Which one
away
matches
away
the word they heard? Okay. And I'll go through all of the unique words in that particular book. So these are the resources I'm giving you in our basic packs. I'm going to show you in some future videos, if you're interested, how to create your own.